wait forevermore.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Trash Takes. I'm Andrew Nakotra. You can follow me on Twitter at TheRealMr83. Here with my co-host Al Hill. You can follow him at Sensation_Al, but there's an X where the O should be.
Yes, sir.
This is Trash Takes. You can follow at Trash Takes 3 on Twitter. Wanted to start it off. I keep realizing that I'm putting these pop quizzes after both first two episodes of things for people to pick up on as they're listening. I never address them really. I think I should each episode. So going back to episode 1, two of the bigger ones. There was a mistake that I made when we were breaking down some of the super stacked teams years ago, and I mixed up the Rangers and the Blue Jays. That was question 1, which teams did I mix up? And then 2, which was my abysmal internet service provider, and that was Optimum. Now, week 2 is the one that I have a bone to pick with you, Al. A huge one. Because my pop quiz was, what is a major flaw with my otherwise perfect MLB logo idea? And nobody seemed to have picked it up for a while. But you should have been the one to absolutely rip me apart for it. For the ultimate trash.
Yeah, I should have crucified you.
Exactly. Basically what I said is that the MLB logo should be the MVP of baseball. What the hell does that even mean? Because there are 2 MVPs every single year. I should have never been able to speak another word. And you just let me go along and say, wow, man, that's pretty good. Merchandise, that'd be fucking sick.
Yeah, man, I didn't use my brain. So
it's on you as well. But that was the big problem. But otherwise, perfect idea. I'm still working on something. I'll come up with more.
Yeah, we'll work out the kinks, send it right up the chain to
exactly. I'll iron out the details. I think the 2 MVP thing is stupid anyway. So there you go. I just fixed it. Make it 1, done. What I wanted to dive into, so time frame wise, we are coming off of the NBA All-Star Weekend a few days back, and I have to be honest with you, and I'm sure you're in the same boat as me. You want to know how many minutes I watched of that entire weekend?
0?
A day.
Is it 0?
Zilch.
Good.
0 nada, which is typically what I'm doing on most All-Star weekends, weeks, days, Pro Bowls. I mean, all baseball.
Pro
try to
Bowl's
tune
abysmal.
in. Oh, the Pro Bowl is not even a real thing. I mean, and here's the problem I have. So, why is it this way? And it's obviously because they're meaningless games, but they weren't always meaningless games, or at least in the idea of baseball. Baseball a few years back, let's call it 2017 or 18 is when they made the switch, which I can't. I'm so mad they made the switch, but it used to mean something. The All-Star game, whoever used to win between AL and NL would have home field advantage in the World Series. It's huge. It had implications. Those stars on those teams cared about the game because they said, wow, we win, and I think that my team is good. This means something. We're going to have home field advantage in the World Series. Now, they took that away, and I get the logic because, honestly, we probably should be rewarding the best record, getting home field advantage in the biggest series in the sport. But now that they did that, they took any idea that there's a reason to be interested in these All-Star games and just completely threw out the window. So I'm wondering, what can they do for you, me, the next person to care at all about the All-Star games?
I don't know. I mean, so the All-Star games in general are pretty awful. They're really bad. I think All-Star weekends are pretty good because, there are things that you tune into where, I want to watch the 3-point contest and I want to watch the dunk contest and then nothing else because I don't really care.
But do you? Is it even exciting anymore? Like the dunk
contest?
Kind of,
yeah. And then for MLB, like I said, home run derby hits.
Yes, that is true.
Things you love to see, home run derbies. They're incredible.
That is true.
But the games themselves, yeah, they're bad. The Pro Bowl, there's been one good moment in a Pro Bowl in the last 25 years, and that was, Sean Taylor lighting that guy up.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it, nobody actually cares. You don't play defense.
Nobody cares.
You don't play defense. Nobody plays hard. And especially for the Pro Bowl, it's after the season. It's not even
nobody cares at all.
It's the best of the players that aren't in the playoffs, which means the skill ceiling is way lower. Like, some of the best players guess what? They're in the playoffs because they're good.
You might as well play after like everything's over. Like you might as well play after the Super Bowl is over.
Yeah,
and at least getting some of the elite guys in there where
that
they'll probably play hard, right? Because what if you get injured and also like no one wants to get injured? I get it, and that's like probably the reason why they're pulling punches in a lot of these sports because they don't want to get hurt. I get it. I don't want them to get hurt either. But I wish there was some sort of incentive. You know, it was kind of like a letdown is last year after the whole Kobe thing. That was an exciting All-Star game. I will fully admit it. They played hard. That point system was sick. And then I thought maybe it would carry over to this year. No traction at all. You had the players that didn't even want to play. LeBron speaks up, says, I don't even want to play the game. It took the win completely out of the sail of any thought that this might be like last year's exciting one. Mm-hmm. But I think a major thing that needs to change. So you know how when we look back at Hall of Fame resumes and you and I start comparing stats of people, sometimes, for baseball especially, basketball, they're like, or even Pro Bowls, they're like, well, look how many Pro Bowls, look how many All-Star appearances, look how many All-Star, votes or whatever that he had throughout his career. And people are like, listen, that's a voting contest. That's a popularity contest. No one cares. I think that needs to change.
Yeah, you want those things to matter. You want to be able to see, right. X player has made this many Pro Bowls, and you want it to matter. But and in the NFL, it's like you have the Pro Bowl and then you have All Pro, and it's like you could say 18 Pro Bowl appearances or whatever the hell it is.
That matters.
But who cares? Because what you want is you want the All Pro votes. The Pro Bowl votes. There's 17 Pro Bowl substitutes, so the top 19 quarterbacks make the Pro Bowl out of 32. Mitchell Trubisky's like a 17-time Pro Bowler. The guy's been in the league for 3 years. He's also been on the bench, and occasionally he throws the ball left-handed just to see if he can get booed out of Chicago. He's like, it's just those guys somehow those guys are Pro Bowlers and they have it on their resume, and then we look and it's like, oh, Mitchell Trubisky must have been pretty. Like you want to look back at the past and look at some of these games and see the players, and you're you looking at their accolades and you're trying to decipher was this guy good? And you see Mitchell Trubisky, oh, he made a Pro Bowl. He must have been good that year. Then you go back and he was
he values it.
Absolutely, unbelievably average. And Khalil Mack had 17 and a half sacks and the Bears made the playoffs. So he just was a Pro Bowler by default.
My thing is, let's take the fans out of it. So with baseball and basketball and all this stuff, stop allowing fans to vote for who's the all-stars of the league. We have stats, we have results, we have real game data that can tell you who's the best at said position. Let those guys, at the very least, win the all-star starters role for all these teams. Let it be picked by the coaches, by the league, or just by straight statistics. Do the shredder like baseball does and just have them literally pick these starters, and then for maybe the reserve guys, the bench guys, or if you want to make sure every team is represented, because I also believe every team, no matter what, should be represented. So if that's the best guy on the team, he should be on there. But outside of that, the starters and stuff, do not leave it up to the fans to vote. I remember a few years ago, it was they had 8 or 9 Royals players.
Yeah.
Leading and they were around. It was around the World Series time, so fans were excited. But
yeah, that was
they were not the best players on the team. So
that was either the year after they made the wild card and got eliminated, when they were everybody was like, oh, they're good now, or it was the year after they after they won the World Series. One of the two.
Either way, and it was 8 or 9 guys in starting position leading. Come on, what type of all-star game are we, potentially going to watch there when you're voting those type of guys in? So it should just be the starters are picked because they are clearly the best, and then everything else voted. So that later on, years down the road, when we say this guy was an all-star, it means something. It means no. The league has identified this guy as the top guy at his position. That, and I don't know if that's going to bring any more viewership to the All-Star game, at least for me. But at least it'll bring more value for somebody being the All-Star. I mean, that's just for me.
Yeah, it's dumb that you have to in the NFL you have the Pro Bowl and it exists, but you have to look past that and look to All Pro as
because of
something that matters, because they've completely taken any legitimacy out of being a Pro Bowler.
Evan Ingram.
You're gonna be on. You're never gonna let my boss. You're never gonna let Evan Ingram go, huh?
No,
he shouldn't have been. He shouldn't have been a first-round pick. But to be fair, I think everybody wanted the Giants to take O.J. Howard over him, and O.J. Howard also hasn't been good.
Joker too.
Yeah, they were all bad. You know who's not bad? Kyle Pitts. He's gonna be one of my first
But
round.
I
I have two first round
PTSD.
picks. I already have it said I got 2 first round picks in my dynasty league. Kyle Pitts is definitely gonna be one of them. I hope he keeps the tight end designation so that I can just win the league the next 9 years in a row. Him and Deshaun Watson are gonna hard carry me.
You can't have him and Deshaun Watson. But I have
why can't I?
PTSD because how are you having a first round pick while still getting Deshaun Watson?
It's a dynasty league. I keep all my players every year.
Oh, I thought you meant for the Jets. I'm like, how do you figure that out?
But listen, we're gonna trade. We'll trade Sam Darnold and whatever backup running back is, and they're gonna rehire Bill O'Brien, and they'll take that deal. Did you see, by the way, that the DeAndre Hopkins trade is completely null and void for the Texans at this point because they gave up on David Johnson already, and they signed Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien. I don't understand how he ever made it out of Houston because he should have been put in one of those the medieval handcuffs where his head and both of his wrists are stuck through the hole.
I don't get the Ingram move. I don't get the Ingram move at all.
I mean, it's a veteran with a veteran for I guess running back depth, but at the same time, you just traded a top 3 wide receiver in the league. For a 17th round draft pick in the 2027 NFL draft and a running back who died the year before, and now you're replacing that running back, so completely worthless.
But speaking of the offseason, you brought up stuff when we were speaking. I didn't even know some of the things that the Jets have put in motion already. Did they make cuts? Are they looking at?
I don't know what the hell they're doing, quite honestly.
That are available?
They haven't made any notable cuts that I can remember. They tagged Marcus May, which is big. I think the tag in this case is one of the things where it's like, hey, we don't even want you to hit free agency. We're working on the deal. It's going to get done at some point, so that's a good thing. I think it's the same thing for the Giants with Leo, right? Yeah.
Yep. Same exact thing.
Yeah.
I'm scared though. Somebody reported he might get more than $21 million per year on this suspected deal that they're working on, and
that's a lot of money.
Scary number.
That is a lot of money.
I thought they were planning on having him trying to keep Tomlinson and trying to go after a wide receiver. Now they're making the cuts to make room, but now when you start talking about that $21+ million number, I don't see the math working out there. I'm not a genius on that.
What's their cap number at?
We just made room on room on the cap with our recent cutting of Zeitler. I'm pretty sure we're over the cap before. Yeah,
that's a weird one too for me.
The Tate cut, sorry.
That's a weird one for me. Is the Zeitler one because I feel like they could have just restructured it, right? How do you not?
But evidently they couldn't.
So you got to assume it's in his best interest to just restructure his contract, right? He's an older guy, right? So he's not going to get a crazy deal in free agency, and he's not going to get as much as he was making because obviously the Giants didn't want to pay him, and somebody else isn't going to be like, oh yeah, I'll just pay you it was $12 million, right?
Yeah.
Somebody else isn't just going to be like, oh yeah, I'll just pay you the $12 million that the Giants refused to pay you. No, he's going to get less than 12. So why don't you just take less than 12 and sign an extension with the Giants, right? I just don't.
I have no idea. I thought the idea was the same as we're trying to figure out with Nate Solder now.
That's the biggest thing for me is how was that done before Nate Solder was thrown into the abyss? I don't. That man.
I mean, we are.
I said this when the Giants signed Nate Solder, and you told me I was wrong. Nate Solder is washed up. You don't sign guys that the Patriots just let leave. I think Joe Thuney is different because he's younger, but I'm pretty sure Nate Solder was 32 when the Giants signed him, and I was like, bro, he's gonna be washed, and then he was a turnstile for 3 years.
What was the statement you just made before, or when I asked you what you want the Jets to do? You said just sign any of these guards, sign any of these tackles.
Yeah.
You better make signing on the offensive line. That was the boat I was in when we were signing Nate Solder. I said I don't care.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm saying the thing is, so it's easier for me because the Jets have Mekhi Becton on the left side and George Fant on the right side, who was serviceable, and Mekhi Becton looks like he's set for a good career. So we don't need a tackle; we need a guard, which is much easier to come by and is not. It's not Yeah, dude, I'll take Zeitler. I'll take if the Jets want to make a splash and go for either of the guys. The Chiefs, by the way, we're 2 years away from Patrick Mahomes pulling a Deshaun Watson because they cut 3 offensive linemen this week after he was running for his life in the Super Bowl. That man is gonna off himself.
He's restructuring his contract too. He's pulling the Tom Brady, and he's taking like a little less money now.
Nobody does it like Tom Brady does it, bro. That man is a free. Did you hear what the one today was? Yeah, he signed a 4-year extension. So he's signed through 2024. He's playing in 2021 and 2022. I think he's already confirmed, right?
Yeah.
And those last 2 years are just like dummy years so that the cap hits there instead of hitting now. And it cleared up like $19 million. So basically what Tom Brady did is
cheated.
We know he's a cheater, but he outsmarted everyone, all the GMs in the league. He pulled the smartest move of all time and cleared up $19 million, and now they just go sign Shaq Barrett. There's no way it's not for Shaq Barrett, right?
Godwin, Shaq Barrett.
Well, Godwin got the tag. Godwin got the tag, so he's already back.
Evans said that he might even restructure his contract, but the thing is, I just said this recently. Listen, I'm a hater of Tom Brady, and I'll defend it until my death. But his biggest contribution to his ongoing success over his whole career is his willingness to make these type of decisions, manipulations, pay cuts, contract, whatever, negotiations, in order to allow the team to get the talent to win, whether it be on the offensive line, the wide receivers, defenders, whatever it might be. No other quarterback does this, and we're seeing it with Patrick Mahomes now. But outside of that, no other quarterback's willing to do this. They want to take their money, and I don't blame them because, again, they get speared through the leg. Their career can end, and that's that. But they don't do this, and then the team can't really stack up with the necessary needs. So Tom Brady's allowing it to happen. Congrats, dude. But I think that's his biggest contribution to the ongoing success is allowing that to happen. Haters, I mean, what people are going to call me a hater, it might be true. Who knows? But
definitely true.
I'm a little scared Giants free agency. I'm a little scared of I've been saying this. I'm very, very scared because we talked about the patience thing, and it's kind of a do or die year. So, and I feel like there's a lot of things to cross off the list to take care of before saying, yeah, we're not making a run, but making a serious improvement on a 6-10 season. And you're telling me there's all these holes that I see on offense, and then all these lingering things you have to address on defense. So they're there, but they need to get paid or negotiated on contract. And it's like, yeah. And then you have Saquon Barkley looming, which I know that's a whole story for another day, but it's still something you have to talk about.
Yeah.
And I'm real scared because I like Daniel Jones. I think he's the guy, and we're wasting some time here if we're not getting it right.
Barkley's a tough one, dude, because we know what he was in college, and we know what he can be in the NFL because he was that, and now, ACL, and they need probably 2 or 3 wide receivers, right?
No, what I really think they're going to do is Shepard's going to stay, Slayton's going to stay. They just re-signed CJ Board, which means nothing. I think they sign a Corey Davis or like a Samuel, or they're not. I don't think Galladay or any of the top guys.
I think I heard this yesterday. I think Galladay goes to the Rams with Matt Stafford.
Jeez, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. I'd hate it, but that'd be nice. I just don't think I never really thought the Giants could get him, or because of the situation they were in. So I think a Corey Davis, Curtis Samuel, and then the draft is really when you make a splash. I think at 11. Between and I said it, the top 3 wide receivers.
Seen a lot of Jalen Waddle.
Yep. Or Kyle Pitts.
There's no way he makes it to 11, dude.
But who is he going to? Is my question.
Anyone. You can't. The thing is, all right. So you can't look at him as a tight end, because if you look at him as a tight end, you're not taking him where he deserves to be taken. You have to go back and look at. And this is a problem with Kadarius Toney as well in this year's draft. He's a wide receiver out of Florida, which is where Kyle Pitts is from. You need to go look at the numbers that they put up this season, and you need to look at Kyle Trask's success with and without Kyle Pitts, because there was a stretch where I think he was suspended or hurt for 2 games. Kyle Trask was in the Heisman conversation. He lost Kyle Pitts and looked lost, and everybody said, "Oh, so it's actually just Kyle Pitts." And then you look at Kadarius Toney's numbers, and I looked at this the other day because I'm a Jets fan, and 23 is a potential spot for a wide receiver. So I was looking at Kadarius Toney, and it was the same thing. He had something where his numbers went up drastically in the second half of the season, and you look at that and you're like, oh, like he got better towards the end of the season. But I don't think it's he got better at the end of the season. I think it's teams were taking, playing dime and having 5 corners, and every single one of them was only there on the field to cover Kyle Pitts.
But I'm not questioning the talent level or how good Kyle Pitts is. I'm asking, listen, the draft, especially in the first round, well, not in the top. In the top, it's usually take the best talent. But you're not sitting here telling me he's going top 5. I really hope you're not saying that.
I think he might be. He might. All right, Devonta Smith won the Heisman. Kyle Pitts might be the best receiving threat in the draft, as impossible as it sounds.
So you're saying that it's a definite better chance and a good chance that one or
might
two
not
of the
make
top
it to
studs,
11.
No. Of the top stud wide receivers, though, will be around at 11 because of.
Oh, somebody, yeah, you will have a shot at one of the 3 or Kyle Pitts.
What about Janoris Jenkins?
I think he goes to Miami. I really do. I think he goes 3 to Miami because he's played. Never mind. I'm gonna stop talking. I think he goes to Miami. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, but I think he goes to Miami. I think Devonta Smith goes to somebody else, and then it's probably Waddle and maybe Kyle Pitts. I genuinely think we need to stop thinking about tight ends as a big guy that's going to block, because Kyle Pitts is, I think he's 6'6", 240. But he also dropped 0 passes. He is going to run well at the combine. He's going to have a crazy vert and giant hands, and he is going to you have to start looking at tight ends more as what Travis Kelce and George Kittle bring and Tony Gonzalez brought. You need to start looking at tight ends more as mismatch weapons than guys who are going to block.
I got to stop you. The reason why I have PTSD is because that's the way we looked at Melvin Ingram.
Yeah, but
he's supposed to be a mismatch nightmare.
And he is to an extent, but he drops balls. You want to know what Kyle doesn't? Kyle Pitts doesn't? He doesn't drop the ball.
Honestly,
he has 0.
If Ingram caught the ball, he'd be the best. So, yeah.
0 drops last season, dude. 0. And he was a number 1 target because he's a god. So we need to start looking at tight ends in the receiver vein, where Travis Kelce either led the league in receiving or was like second in the league in receiving. They're receivers. And most of the time they're better blockers than receivers. Right? They are better at blocking than they are at receiving. They are better blockers than the wide receivers on their team, right?
Of course.
So that's why they're listed at tight end. But these guys are also going to score you points. They are going to be unguardable by the defense, right? So you need to start taking these guys where you would be taking receivers. Just because he's listed as a tight end doesn't mean he's a tight end. He's not a tight end. The kid's a freak athlete, and he's going to destroy some middle linebackers that are stuck in coverage on this dude. And it's going to be
excited to see it.
Yeah, man, he's going to be a fun one.
Wait, real quick, what is that jacket you're wearing?
This is my uncle went to one of the World Series, and this is
cool.
this is one of the things that he happened to bring back. Hell yeah, bro! He brings me all kinds of stuff like this. A little World Series patch, MLB, and then the MLB.com logo. Yeah, it's real comfy.
Wasn't that the reason you took a picture with Ron Darling?
Yeah. He was in the SNY office when my uncle worked there.
I hated you for a long time just because of that picture.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome.
I did want to touch on something.
Good.
Real quick. We can bounce back, but speaking of baseball, I'm seeing this a lot, and I'm seeing this a lot with your fan base right now. I don't know if I think it could just be the general excitement that baseball is coming back, and we're getting a regular season of baseball. It's not the fake, 60 games. And I'm excited about spring training. I'm so happy there's spring training. Not that I'm able to see the games during work or the ones that are not even being broadcasted. Let's not even get started there. But I'm excited baseball is back, so I'm not going to slow anybody down from that. But listen, I'm very entrenched in Yankees Twitter, unfortunately, on Twitter. I shouldn't be, but I am. I see some over-exaggerations and overhype and reactions to some of the things happening in spring training, which, as baseball fans, we're supposed to know we take things with a grain of salt, at least from the hitter standpoint. You want to talk about a pitcher like Jacob deGrom throwing 102 and murdering people? Yeah. I'm totally all for it. Even Garrett Cole, I'm cool with that. But there are people trying to use a couple Gary Sanchez solo bombs as an example and reason that this guy is back and he's going to be the machine he was in 2016. And I think we need to pump the brakes. I'll give you one example that changed my life. Why we need to pump the brakes about spring training. It was either, let's call it 2013. I'm watching every Met spring training I could possibly do, watch whatever on MLB TV. And the matchup was Ruben Tejada versus Steven Strasburg. And Ruben Tejada went yard on Steven Strasburg in spring training. I smiled, I got excited, and right then and there was a good wake-up call like, wow, this shit means nothing. Because that will never happen in a Major League Baseball game. Ever.
Yep.
So the Ruben Tejada, it's literally ingrained in my head. That put in my head, it's like, can we stop getting so excited, especially about just a couple big hits here and there for a player, especially one that's been struggling for years?
Yeah, no, I'm down.
I get the excitement.
I think the excitement mainly comes from him looking good. Not in terms of, hitting the ball far, but I saw a couple of videos of him swinging the bat. Looks like he dropped 40 pounds.
Yeah.
And as long as his defense isn't egregious, we've seen the kind of hitter he can be. And we've also seen that if anybody makes an attempt to steal a base on him, they should probably not be allowed to run the bases for the rest of the game by their manager because he has probably the best arm in the league behind the plate, right?
That's a wild statement, but yeah.
Dude, you've seen the lasers Gary Sanchez throws from on the plate, right? I'm not saying it's by far he's got the best arm, but he's easily he's got one of the best arms behind the plate. So him looking not like a fat slob gives us hope. I haven't said anything ludicrous on Twitter yet. It'll happen.
I said your people.
It'll happen eventually. If we're 2 weeks into the season and Gary Sanchez has 4 home runs and 12 RBIs, I'm gonna say he's gonna win MVP, and then he'll probably go over his next 17 because that's the way baseball works.
Listen, April, you come out. I don't care if it's a random April day. You're allowed to start branding people with what you think they're going to be for the season. I'm okay with it.
Hell yeah.
But spring training can't be it. What I will say to your credit, you said he looks good physically.
Yeah.
But what I will also say the things you can take from spring training is looking good, from a mechanics standpoint, looking good from an approach standpoint. Even during strikeouts, like if you see someone have a great at bat and you're like, no, I see him loading different. Where last year it was trash, his timing was awful, or he just missed that one, but I could see his approach at the plate is way better. Those are the things you can take out and be like, whoa, I think we're in for something. So the reason why I want to contradict myself is saying I think Pete Alonso is going to have a ridiculous year, just like 2019, not because of the balls he just recently hit over the fence with absolute ease, absolute laser bombs, just the man that he is. But like you said, how he looks doing it, his approach at the plate, his quickness to the ball, that this not double loading that he got in love with. And those are the things I see in spring training that says, that guy's on his way to a good year if he continues that.
Yeah.
But not the actual results.
I haven't taken a look at Gary Sanchez's swing. I know he hit one like 412 over the bat, or like 430 or something over the batter's eye to dead center, which is promising. Because when he was unbelievable the first 2 years where, he hit a lot of doubles the other way. And then it turned into a lot of trying to hit the ball 485 to left, and trying to pull the ball every time, and that just doesn't fly. So
like
it
home run derby.
Yeah, no, dude, it turned into an unbearable amount of ground outs to short and ground outs to third because he tried to pull everything. And if he keeps, I don't think his swing's bad. I think he just needs to not, try to pull, just hit it, just hit the baseball. And it sounds dumb, but
he's
just let it fly.
He's a timing guy to me. He's got a leg kick. He does a few things with motion in his swing and his load up and stuff like that. So for me, I feel like it's just a timing thing, and then obviously he'll get down on himself in some sort of mental rut. But it's like Pete Alonso. I'm telling you, he did this double clutch thing, and if he's getting rid of it in spring training, those are the things I pick up on. I'm like, all right, now I'm all in. That guy having a big season, but a guy hits a 450-foot shot or a couple of them. That's not the reason why you can just, I'm so excited for him. Dude, the pitcher could have threw the worst in existence. You know what I mean? You don't know that.
Yeah, Giancarlo hit a laser the other night. That was a good one. That was
demolished.
that was the ball that he hit at a Dodger Stadium. That's that kind of that was that kind of home run where you saw it and it left your screen and you knew that the ball was never going to be seen ever again.
You texted me 800 miles per hour exit velocity, and when I saw it, I said, if you actually told me that, I would believe you.
My uncle told me because one of the guys on the Padres hit a laser beam too. Not Tatis or Machado, some other random guy hit one that was 117, and that was actually faster than Giancarlo's. As unbelievable as it sounds, I think Giancarlo's was only 115, which was a shocker.
I think the radar gun broke.
Yeah,
happened.
It went around once, so like it goes up to 9999 like 99 like 9,999, and then he did 115 more than that, so it was like 10,115.
Yeah. No, it's fun stuff though. Listen, like I said, I'm not gonna shit on everybody getting excited because I'm really excited. I'm the worst too. Wait until the actual season starts.
Oh, trust me, I know.
He's going to throw one strike. He's going to throw one strike. Be like, give him the Cy Young now.
the first pitch.
I'm the worst.
Was it over the plate? Yes. Jacob deGrom for the Cy Young.
Yeah, no, but it's fun stuff. I also don't think I'm a little hurt, but I haven't been giving enough credit to my team in basketball, and they've been doing some good things. They've been doing a lot of good things, and I know you've been.
Oh, I saw it. I don't want to hear this now. I saw your Twitter last night or the night before where you said they should never ever touch the court again, and all of them.
That's gonna happen on every loss. Have you been following me during the Mets season? I told you I'm the worst. My classic go-to line is "Get off the field, you pathetic waste of space, non-athletic, no effort." I'm going to do that every single time they look bad, but that does not take away from the nights that they look good. And all I'm trying to say is, so obviously in this time frame, they just lost to the Bucks, first game coming out of the All-Star break. But they're a 500 team. They're still a playoff team. They're the top 4th seed. It's so weird. It's something I'm so not used to. It's been so long to even be relevant in this calendar month as a Knicks fan. There's something I want to touch on. So I know you haven't been following along with them. There's something you might be able to, get a hold of. So Thibodeau has been doing a great job with this team, but he's been doing a great job in some aspects and awful in others. And there's a comparison I want to make him as a coach to coaching baseball, and you tell me if it's accurate. So Tibbs is getting the most out of the players. We have so many young guys, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, even some of the veteran guys of Derrick Rose, Taj Gibson, whoever it might be. They're working well. They're not all that talented. Julius Randle is a god, but they're not all that talented. But what he's got going as a coach behind the scenes is he's got this team playing balls to the wall 150%. Offense and defense, but mostly defense. Just playing hard basketball, something that you're hardly even used to in the NBA, but they're giving it their all 100%. The thing he's terrible at is the rotations who's getting the minutes, who's starting, who's not, because Elfrid Payton's the worst player to ever dribble basketball, and he's getting more minutes than everybody else in the position, more minutes than Emmanuel Quickley, who has, in my eyes, earned the spot, but you want to be stubborn about it and say not. So this is a comparison. Joe Girardi at the end of his career. And my example is that great guy, great clubhouse guy, right? Gets the players to play hard, but he was kind of terrible in-game management. And you tell me if that's any which kind of accurate or comparison.
I mean, I saw some dumb stuff out of Joe Girardi, but if I remember correctly, Joe Girardi also had the bullpen running on all cylinders. He knew when to put each person in the bullpen and when to pull them, and I mean, he had that elite version of Chad Green, where he was literally unhittable. And then, he had Dellin Betances doing Dellin Betances things. As long as he wasn't throwing the ball to first or second or third, he was good.
So what was the gripe then? Because Yankee fans did have a gripe with Joe Girardi towards the end.
That's because he didn't win another World Series. That's exactly why. I didn't have any issues. I still have issues with Aaron Boone now that Clint Frazier doesn't touch the field enough, because he is very clearly the future in one of the outfield positions, and we just don't give him any playing time because Brett Gardner used to be good a long time ago. So that's annoying. But other than that, I mean, I personally didn't have any issues. The issue was that, we didn't win a World Series, and everybody was like, Joe Girardi. And she's like,
So let me update it then.
How much of it? So Boone's kind of a guy where, you can get behind him. That they had the whole, everybody's seen the rant. It was my favorite rant in quite a long time last year, where my guys are savages in the box. Yeah. Love that one.
Who doesn't want to be a savage in the box?
He's a savage. Amazing. Yeah. But that's the kind of guy that gets you fired up. Something that I think Robert Saleh is gonna be good at for the Jets too, which is important. He's gonna get the best out of, in particular, his defensive players, but I'm sure his offensive players are gonna get a little bit out of that too. If he sees Mekhi Becton run somebody over at left tackle, Mekhi Becton's gonna get hyped.
Might blow a basket, if he sees that.
Yeah,
Saleh looks like he's a high energy guy, but let me
a
more modern comparison. The Clint Frazier situation is what us Knicks fans are starting to bump into with Emmanuel Quickley. The guy that deserves to be playing, but you have the veteran that nobody wants to see out there taking all the minutes. Maybe that's the best comparison there. Emmanuel Quickley
deserves give him his time, let him prove himself, and let him be the future that we know he is going to be for the team, right?
You took him for it. We drafted Emmanuel Quickley. Listen, if this kid came out like Obi Toppin, who's looked not that great, and I'm trying to defend the kid, I really am. I'm sitting there slugging it out on Twitter like, no, give him time. I'm running out of things to say, but I'll make up shit. I don't care. But Emmanuel Quickley, I don't even have to fight. People see it. It's a given thing. So it's like, he's clearly shown the talent. Put him out there. Let him play. Let him fail for a little bit. It's not going to kill his confidence. You as a coach, to make sure his confidence doesn't get killed, you've already wasted half a season of doing this little. You're the young guy. You got to sit. So now let him play. And then, if it doesn't work out, you put Derrick Rose and you put Elfrid Payton. Actually, never put Elfrid Payton in the game ever again.
That's fair.
But Yankees or Clint Frazier, it should be the same thing. And I think this year it is. But I think they wasted a little too much time. I think it should have been a little earlier. We got a start lineup. Go in there.
It's actually, now that you've brought up how Emmanuel Quickley is being worked into the lineup this season, it's exactly the same. Let him fail. Everybody wanted Clint Frazier traded because he made a couple errors in his 8-game stretch last year, and it's like, yeah, a guy's gonna make errors, and then he's gonna become a better fielder when he plays every day instead of being in AAA, wanting he had some kind of weird issue where he had really bad migraines. I'm pretty sure that held him out for a long time. But now, he
got a concussion.
Oh yeah. He had a concussion, and that gave him. Was it?
Drury is the migraine guy. Yeah, we have him now.
No. Because Clint Frazier, the reason Clint Frazier missed so many games is because of the concussions. He was having really bad migraines for a while. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So
But
it's like, yeah, people were really nervous about that because concussion you can't fuck around with. So
yeah,
that was like a real thing people were real nervous about.
yep. Yeah, no. So that was a nightmare. But then like he made like 3 errors in like 8 games, and everybody's like he can't play defense. We can't have an outfielder that can't play defense, and it's like, well, instead of banishing him to AAA and like just watching him build up his shoe collection on Twitter, how about like we get him playing time in the big leagues so he can get better at fielding? Like we're gonna win 100. Like that error isn't gonna. All right, it might cost us a game, right? We're gonna win enough games to win the division anyway. It's not gonna affect our seed most likely if he makes a couple errors. Let the kid play. God damn.
Yeah, make the decision in playoff time what you want to do, and not the regular season.
Yeah, and if it is an issue, you have a defensive replacement for that reason, right?
I think once he tagged Jen Selter years ago saying he wanted a date and keep that publicly, that should earn him a spot with
dude,
the pinstripe. No doubt about it.
He should have been in the Hall of Fame immediately.
Apparently, he has a good-looking girlfriend now, though. I think so.
He does, yeah.
Good for him. I think you just like him because of the red hair, but that's
Ginger Jesus.
That's remains. What? Yeah, exactly.
Ginger Jesus. That's his nickname.
I like him because you want to know why? I thought his frustration was boiling to a point where I don't know, maybe something would be a little turmoil in the Yankee organization, but it seems like they smoothed it out. We'll see how the playing time goes this year. I was hoping he gets like traded to the Pirates. Never have to see him on that team again. But
yeah, the Pirates are a waste of space.
Yeah, they're one of the worst. But by the way, they were the reason for the spring training rant. By the way, I'm pretty sure like the highlights I was seeing was like Yankees versus Pirates, and I had enough. I was like, all right, guys, we're doing this. Like
the only notable thing there are 2 notable things the Pirates have done recently, and that is the season-long war that they had with and now I can't remember his name. The guy the Yankees signed, we were talking about him last week, hits the ball to the moon, pimps all his home runs. Derek Dietrich. There we go.
Yep.
The season-long war with Derek Dietrich and allowing 465-foot laser to Aaron Judge. Those are the 2 highlights of Pirates baseball for the last decade, pretty much.
Yeah, they're nothing. They're absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they had Andrew McCutchen, and then they didn't. So, that was cool.
Yeah. But like you said, the to bring it back, there's still excitement in Nicktown. Don't take my tweets too seriously in game. Don't take any of my tweets too seriously ever. Actually, in game, you got to catch me at a cool off point after the games. Because even me after a win, we win, we're a championship team. That's it. That's the way it goes. Knicks are winning the finals. The Mets are winning the World Series. The Giants are winning the Super Bowl. It's just the way I am. You've been like that with the Jets. You've had some crazy optimism with the Jets going into a season.
Yeah, but I think I feel like most of it is like I don't think most of it is misguided. Like I feel like most of the time it's like, oh, like this guy showed us a lot last season, and then that guy comes into the season and does nothing, which is completely unexpected. Usually you expect him to take another step. Like I'm coming into the season, I'm expecting Quinn Williams to make a jump and be a 10.5, 11.5 sack guy. He had like 8.5 this season. I think he missed some time. Quinn Williams looks really good. He's getting Robert Saleh. We're probably going to add some kind of edge piece somewhere to give him some help, right? So I'm expecting him to make a jump, and then because it's the Jets, he'll have 4.5 sacks. He'll have 4.5 sacks over 15 games. He'll tear his ACL, MCL, PCL, LCL, UCL, snap his femur and his tibia, and he'll never play football ever again. And that's usually how it works.
This is my question. I feel like there hasn't been enough of a reaction from Jets fans because I've gotten it from the whole Met fandom things. They're very interchangeable. How does it not drive you insane? I mean, maybe it's because we're not winning that many games, but how does it not drive you insane to see what Leo Williams is doing for the Giants versus what you guys drafted him for at 6 overall? This is the guy. This is exactly who you thought you had over the last season and a half for the Giants. How does that not, like, I don't even see that reactions from Jet fans. I'm sure maybe you guys just try to tear him down, like, oh, he's not that great. But like, how is this not like example? Like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
You have but the Giants have pieces around him that the Jets don't have, which means so what do he have, 11.5 this year? Probably would have had like 7.5 with the Jets or something like that. So like it's not. Yeah, no, I mean it's not bad, but we need we definitely need another piece. I think we got to start talking about obviously NFL free agency because that's right around the corner. I'm pretty sure it opens up Monday, right? 3 days from now.
Yeah.
We're recording this Friday, March 12th. So pretty sure 3 days from now NFL free agency opens up, and it is going to be a fun one. Obviously, we talked a little bit before about what was deemed massacre week by Pat McAfee, where everybody just for fun cut both of their guards this week just to see what happens. We're just going to play Ring Around the Rosie, see what happens, see what guard ends up where.
There's a lot. Yeah.
The Chiefs went out of their way to show Pat Mahomes that they don't give a single fuck about him. And they also, so it goes both ways, right? They showed him that they don't care about him in the slightest, but that they also have the utmost faith in him to 1v11 the other against the defense and get them to another Super Bowl, which is probably not going to happen because we saw what happened last year in the Super Bowl where he had zero chance.
I don't think
but they cut Eric Fisher, Mitchell Schwartz, and their starting center. So that's 3 of their offensive linemen are gone, which means they're going to draft 8 this year. So
I think
I don't get it, dude.
Think it'll look like that Super Bowl game.
Most of the games aren't, right? Because you're playing in the AFC West. It might be, dude. They might have some bad divisional games besides the Raiders because
they're going that season like they are right now. There's going to
they're gonna add pieces, but like, dude, Mitchell Schwartz was a really solid player, and so is Eric Fisher. You're not gonna be able to just instantly replace those guys. They're picking at 31. Like, those guys are not gonna be replaced. He's gonna be running for his life a lot. You're talking about playing against a healthy. Hopefully a healthy Joey Bosa. Actually, Melvin Ingram is a free agent, so the Chargers don't have the 2 ends anymore, or maybe they'll bring him back. Who knows? But you're playing against a healthy Joey Bosa, and then Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. Like, that's not ideal. Like, those might be tough games this year because Pat Mahomes is going to be running for his life.
They're restructuring his contract, so I'm sure with all of these guys on free agency that are now available. They're looking to maybe they're replacing with cheaper options. I don't know how their contracts, Mitchell Schwartz and all that stuff, how they were set up, but maybe they're looking to just go for cheaper options to fill in, make sure they have the depth there in draft, because they certainly don't have to do anything on the weapons side. That's for damn sure.
As crazy as it is, it looks like their window is closing really fast. Because how do you pay Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and what's it? Dave, my Chris Jones. There we go. I was saying Chris Davis, Chris Jones, and Tyrann Mathieu. Like, how do you pay those 5 guys? And if you're paying those 5 guys, how are you paying the other? 17? What do you do?
Well, isn't the cap going to take a huge increase because of TV deals that are coming up?
I mean, maybe, but yeah, okay, maybe, but still, those 5 guys are going to be like 85% of your cap at that point. How?
Let me ask you something. Aren't we seeing right now that, and I really, if there's an aspect I can't grasp, it's really how these negotiations go forth with restructuring and stuff like that, and why nearly every single contract in the entire NFL is a complete fugazi thing. None of it's real.
Yeah, especially with Tom Brady.
Exactly. So use that as an example. So you say that now, but you look at things like the Rams have done or the Chiefs are doing now with Mahomes and what Tom Brady's done his whole career, none of it matters. Or what the Giants are about to do with Nate Soldier. You look, oh my God, look at his cap hit. Renegotiate. We'll just restructure that one. And it's not as much of a cap hit or not as much of an issue. So I think these organizations are a little bit, not all of them, not like the Texans, but these organizations are a little smarter than we give credit for.
We just got to make it a thing to call out Houston every week.
Right. I don't think they're signing and saying, wow, we're screwed. I think they're signing it and they know that, hey, years down the line, we're going to have to start having a conversation. And some of these guys want to win.
Yeah.
Some of these guys feel they have gotten paid enough and they make these sacrifices. The whole Bucks team looks like I'll take a pay cut for the next guy and the next guy. So whatever like that. So I'm not worried. I'm really not worried for the Chiefs until years down the line where it's like, all right, guys, it's over. You tried, you won 3, and that's that.
Yeah.
But I know it's going to be like Candyland. It's going to be a lot of exciting things. But I got to tell you, I no longer get excited for free agency anymore when it doesn't have to do with my New York team or even, let's say, the New York teams.
I mean, with some, I'm sure you're with like if something big happens, like one of the quarterbacks who may or may not be moves, or one of the really big names goes, you're gonna say something. But I get where you're coming from.
I'm talking about me getting excited though. Listen, there is, like I said, some fixing to be done for the New York Football Giants. Yep. There is some major fixing to be done for the New York Football Jets. You know what I mean? Yep. I don't want to hear about what the Bills are going to do to take them to the Super Bowl to helm. You know what I mean? Like, what type of moves are they going to do? So those are the ones that naturally, as a New York fan, that I'm honing in on. And I want to know what the realistic, what are the realities that are going to be there. Like I said, I think it's going to be going after a wide receiver like a Corey Davis. Yeah. You know what I mean? And handling the homegrown talent. You got to try to keep both tackles, or when I took Leo and talk Tomlinson, you got to figure that out. Are you going to address edge? Are you going to address the guards with all these guards that are now available? Mm-hmm. Can we, with the money that we have, or are we just doing 1-2 little things and diving big into the draft and crossing our fingers?
Yeah, that's rough.
The Jets are in a completely different scenario. You guys got the money. You got
the
draft capital.
Got a lot of money.
You have a lot of options.
Yeah. No, I think Corey Davis is an interesting name because he was supposed to be, a stud first-round draft pick, the whole 9. And he wasn't good for a while, and he's been good the last 2 seasons-ish, right? He's been really good. I wonder how much of that has to do with A.J. Brown being there and, the focus mainly in Tennessee being on what do we do to stop Derrick Henry, because it doesn't seem possible. So, there's that. But I think the Jets and the Giants have some very similar players in mind. I've seen, obviously, the Jets, for the love of God, get me an edge rusher, please help me. Because the last edge player we've had was John Abraham, who was good, and then everybody else after that was atrocious, and that was 2008. So I've seen Hassan Reddick. I'm not as big a fan of Hassan Reddick as I am of somebody like Yannick Ngakoue, who is still very young. He's 25. He has not had less. He's a little bit crazy, but he's also has not had less than 8.5 sacks. So I get it. Kind of a no-brainer talent-wise, right? 8.5. That's over our team lead, or I think Quinn Williams led the team with 8.5. So you put him on the team, and he has 12, and they don't get to just double team Quinn Williams the whole season. Yeah. And suddenly we have a pass rush, and then that eases on the cornerbacks. Jets need to bring back Brian Poole, the slot corner, really badly. They need to go after probably a veteran cornerback. I think Richard Sherman, if you can get him cheap, which I think you can, because he's already done the Robert Saleh thing. He loves Robert Saleh. He's made that very, very clear. Adding a guy like him, bringing back Brian Poole, adding Yannick Ngakoue. What was that?
Who's available? Veteran corner.
The one from the Titans, right?
Yeah.
The one that just got cut.
Face? Super Bowl winning.
Yeah.
Malcolm
Butler,
Malcolm Butler. He free agent?
He just got cut, yeah. He is a free agent, yes. He I looked into that. His coverage numbers were good, but not great. He doesn't deserve to be paid like a Darrelle Revis or somebody like that in that vein. But he's definitely an upgrade over the cesspool that the Jets have had at cornerback. Starting what?
He'd be interesting to see where he goes.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I didn't even know it was available. I didn't see it.
The Saints also cut Janoris Jenkins, which is an interesting one.
Keep him away from us.
Yeah,
Keep him away from him.
The issue is isn't he racist or something too?
No, he called someone retarded.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
can't be doing that.
he's an idiot. Can't do that on Twitter. Yeah.
Cannot do that at all.
Yeah, that wasn't a smart one. But I think the Jets have some very similar slots to the Giants. I think obviously wide receiver is a need that we need to address. Offensive line is a need we need to address. I think Chris Herndon can turn it around at tight end and be good. He could be great. We saw him be really, really good in his rookie year. I think he could be good, could be great. I think I'm leaning more towards like tight end 10 or tight end 9 in terms of like where he slots in at where I genuinely think he'll be in the league. In terms of like receiving numbers, like he'll be like a top 10. He'll be like one of the guys you start weekly in fantasy because he's like top 10.
What are you talking about? If
Chris
you catch
Herndon?
one touchdown and drop 11 balls and don't do anything else in your position, you're a Pro Bowl tight end.
This is true. Chris Herndon can definitely do that.
If you do that, you're better than Evan Ingram.
So I think he's good. We're pretty good at tight end. I don't want to see them do anything there, but I think. Like I said, offensive line obviously is a need that needs to be addressed desperately. In terms of the guards, tackles, I think are okay. So that's very similar to the Giants there. And then just give me an edge rusher and a quarterback, please. God, I'm so sick of it. Or give me one. Give me an edge rusher, and then that makes it much easier on the cornerbacks because they don't have to cover for 17 seconds. And give me a middle linebacker that can cover. CJ Mosley, this is you. This is you. Come back. Yeah. I need you to play. I need you to not die. I need you to cover a tight end, please. Because I've seen these guys on the Jets blow coverage on tight ends over and over again for like 12 years. Miserable.
We've been giving up way too much to Jason Witten, Zach Ertz. I mean, these are studs per years, but like
To be fair, one of those guys is a Hall of Famer, and Zach Ertz might also be a Hall of Famer.
He might be on the block. He might be available.
He is available, yeah. Dallas. I don't think he's a free agent, but Dallas Goedert is the guy there.
Yeah, so I think they're kicking the tires on. Well, they're going with Goddard, and they're
What do you think? All right. Well, let's start with like the top tier free agents. Where do you think these guys land? I think I would assume you're probably on board with me in saying Shaq Barrett just goes back to the Bucs because Tom Brady just gave him $19 million, right?
Yep, staying with the Bucs.
Guys like
did A-Rob get tagged?
A-Rob is tagged. Yeah, Allen Robinson is tagged. That is very clearly a tag and trade scenario where they're going to trade him to a team where it's contingent on him signing an extension because he's made it clear that he doesn't just want to leave. He wants to leave and never go back to Chicago.
Yeah. You won't even fly over.
Yeah, no. Yeah, the plane has to go. It has to be rerouted to go like either north into Canada airspace and then around, or like underneath.
Well, let me ask one more question. Forget like just the straight up free agents. What QB changes do you think happen before the season?
Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson has to happen. Deshaun Watson has to happen anywhere.
Who?
All right. So we're not going to see it now. Maybe around the draft time, the talks are going to heat up because it's draft time. But it's going to happen before the season because when they get to training camp and Deshaun Watson says, "I don't know what you guys are talking about. I told you 6 months ago I wasn't playing." They're going to be like, "Oh, wait, you were serious?" And then all of a sudden, his value decreases because he has to get traded, and he makes it very clear that he has to be traded because he won't play. So then teams are going to start, that's when that heats up. Russell Wilson, I think, is less of a possibility. I think Sam Darnold has a bit. I think in order, it's probably Deshaun Watson at the top is like definitely going somewhere. I think Sam Darnold might go somewhere, and then Jimmy. I heard the Patriots really, really trying to get Jimmy G.
Even with signing Cam.
Yeah, I heard that. That's what I heard a couple days ago. Was Jimmy G? The Patriots are really trying to get a deal done for Jimmy G, trying to make a trade there. And then I heard in reverse that a lot of teams are calling the Patriots about the wide receiver N'Keal Harry.
Yeah,
that's an interesting one.
Yeah,
That's another Corey Davis kind of guy where he came out of college. He went. I think he went 32nd to the Patriots. So that's probably the year they won the Super Bowl. 32nd or 31st. And
they were the last pick.
Yeah, and he just hasn't been there. So I think he probably wants out of New England. It doesn't help that Cam Newton was his quarterback last season, and then the guy had more rushing yards and passing yards. So
take a sidestep. One thing I needed to bring up, and
God,
you had to hear the story. We're gonna totally turn this one. Basketball world, but not the sport. Extracurricular. Okay, New York Knicks. If they ever can screw things up by bringing negative attention, they will do. It's kind of like the Mets of the last 15 years. You hear about the whole Patrick Ewing thing?
Yeah, where something about like his pass. He needs James Dolan. He needs James Dolan to make his pass like more noticeable because people don't know where he is or whatever.
And with security, whoever's supposed to let him go by, whatever the scenario might be.
I'm over that nonsense.
They're telling Patrick Ewing he can't go into a certain area, restricting from it, telling him to leave, and not recognizing who he is in Madison Square Garden. How impossible is that?
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
First, let me point out that even if you were on the gray area, I can't tell who it is, he's 7 feet tall. He's clearly somebody, even if you want to be, I can't recognize him. He gained some weight. He's bald. He's 7 feet tall. Let's start letting the cogs, move in your head a little bit. But how do you not recognize and then treat a Knicks legend like that in his house, basically, MSG? I'm trying to think of equivalents of where give me an equivalent of someone making a mistake towards what player would this be?
Derek Jeter in Yankee Stadium.
Is it Derek Jeter, though? He's Derek Jeter. It's literally not even a human possibility because he won the 5 rings.
It's pretty similar, dude. Yeah, I mean it's in the same vein. I mean, Derek Jeter's probably more of a Yankee legend than Pat Ewing is a Knicks legend.
Because one won championships, one didn't.
Yeah,
but there's no standards for Knicks legends. So, Derek Jeter, LT walking down like a giant, giant hallway dealing with the Giants. Like, you gotta be kidding me.
It's pretty rough, dude.
That's tough, and there's no I didn't hear any aftermath of where that guy's job is. There's no names, there's no reactions. I didn't even hear Dolan's take on it. I just heard Patrick Ewing kind of throwing his fit on it, and rightfully so. But something always has to happen.
Yep.
Now we have 2 Knicks legends that are pissed off at MSG. We have Charles Oakley.
Sounds about
you
right.
have Patrick Ewing. You got a lot going on. I'm waiting for Clyde Frazier to just get up and throw a fit mid-broadcast, doing his Dr. Seuss rhymes and chimes during the I just did it myself during the basketball games, which is hilarious to listen to. But it's just, come on, man. We have a good thing going, and now we disrespected Patrick Ewing.
Yeah,
it's tough. But other than that, they're playing good basketball.
Let's close off with NFL free agency just because it is right around the corner. We're a little bit over. We're just over an hour. So we'll close out with NFL free agency as much as we can. We already went over. You talked about Jimmy G. That's a fun one. We talked about quarterbacks moving. I think a big one. The Jets got to throw a whole lot of money at Yannick Ngakoue, Joe Thuney, Kevin Zeitler. I put on Twitter. Any 3 of 5 guys, and it was Richard Sherman. I don't even remember the list anymore. It's on my Twitter at @sensation_Al. The O is an X. That's there. That's my Jets fix. What do you think about some of these tags? Because, like I said, Allen Robinson, the tag is I think it's very clearly a facade. It's we don't want to let this guy walk, which I think here's going back when the Jets traded Darrelle Revis to the Buccaneers. Everybody freaked out. The alternative was we kept Darrelle Revis for 1 more season, and then he walked away for free next year. So, still think that was a good trade for the Jets. People are dumb and they're gonna say, "Well, you could have had Darrell Reed." Yeah, but we wouldn't have done anything because we were bad. Didn't make a difference. So that's something. Chris Godwin got tagged. We talked about. Did you see the Trent Brown trade?
What's that?
Did you see the Trent Brown trade?
You got Trey. Where did Trent Brown
from the Raiders to the Patriots?
Yeah.
They swapped a 7 for a 5. How?
Patriots 5.
And got back a 7. And Trent Brown.
With Trent Brown.
I feel like that's, even if Trent Brown isn't what he used to be, that's still such a joke of a trade. Like, how are the Raiders, who are in need of a lot of things, trading Trent Brown for pocket lint?
Well, if there's one thing we know about a Bill Belichick trade, is
he only makes good ones.
They were fleeced. Yeah,
only makes good ones.
He makes good ones for Patriots, and the receiving ends typically get fleeced. I will say though about the tags, I think most of them, I can't think of one besides none of them that there isn't more action happening after. The tag for Leo is just a negotiation for his contract. The tag for A-Rob, like you said, is being traded. I don't think there's anyone that come to mind that just stick as, yeah, they're sticking out for the year and we'll readjust this later on. So, I mean, typically it's a good idea. It's what you should use it for. But it's not like the Leo situation we did last year. Where it's like, hey, we're tagging him. He's playing this year, and we're going to talk later on.
Yeah. So I pulled up the list. We'll go through. I mean, this is the top 100. I'm just going to bring up some names, and you give me some kind of team. Oh, Shaquille Griffin, cornerback at Seattle. Love to see him in a Jets uniform. That's a big one. What are you thinking about? Let's go Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him in a Jets uniform, too. Give him a lot of money.
Yeah, basket case. I don't like the guy that's thrown previous we're finding out it kind of returns no matter where they go, or in a lot of cases they do. I don't like the guys that have thrown tantrums at previous teams and wanted trades, and if things go south, and sorry, the Jets bump into that a lot, you're going to have him barking every tree saying, trade me. It's not something I want to deal with.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I desperately want the player, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
We talked about Corey Davis.
Giants.
Antonio Brown, classic. Love the guy.
Probably back.
How about some guys? Ronald Darby, cornerback.
No idea.
He played for, I believe, Buffalo drafted him. He's leaving Washington. Another cornerback.
It all depends when you get paid, because the Giants are also looking for, I think, a CB2, but we may have guys on the team that could do it, or that could fill the spot, or we'd be looking.
How about this whole group of edge rushers I'm going to give you here? Bud Dupree, Trey Hendrickson, Hassan Reddick, Matthew Judon, and Melvin Ingram.
Yeah, we spoke on a couple of them. I mean, Hassan Reddick,
Hassan Reddick, I'm good. I'm not super high on him.
Bud Dupree, you got to kind of look past the torn ACL. That's rough.
Yeah, but he was. People talk about how good T.J. Watt was, but Dupree was right there with him the whole season.
Did you see what happened to the Steelers once he went down?
Yeah, not good.
They were abysmal.
Sure. Yep.
So, yeah.
Trey Hendrickson kind of came out of nowhere for the Saints, had a really big season. I think he like 13.5 this year or something. That's a guy who's going to get paid a lot of money. I'm going to say it again. Love to see him in a Jets uniform, because I'd love to see anybody with a competent pass rush in a Jets uniform.
Any confident player on my team, please.
I've seen a lot of Matthew Judon stuff, who I don't think is as good as some of these other players. But he's got ties to the Jets somehow. I am ingrained in Jets Twitter the way you are in Mets and Giants Twitter, so that name's come up a lot. And Melvin Ingram's a fun one, because Melvin Ingram is a guy that's been good for a long time in LA with the Chargers, opposite Joey Bosa. Makes a deadly pair there. I think he probably goes back because he's 32.
Yeah, there's a couple guys I think ends up back on their teams that, like I said, it's just a matter of working out their contract.
Reddick, I think Reddick definitely leaves. Just because I mean, you just JJ Watt just slots in his spot, right?
Yeah.
Reddick's got to go.
I get the same person, I don't know.
Where does Hendrickson, like a guy like Trey Hendrickson or Bud Dupree, right? So I think Bud Dupree, I think the Steelers desperately try to get him back on a team-friendly deal, right? Because he tore his ACL.
I was going to say team-friendly because of the injury, but does he bite because of what he saw happen to that team? It was kind of like, I know quarterbacks are different, but when Dak started to see how bad the Cowboys were without him, they're like, yeah, there's no hesitation. Give me all my money. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It was...
One last guy before we wrap it up. Nelson Agler, who I'm sure you loved him for a bunch of seasons because he was the bane of Eagles fans' existence. But he had a really good year this year, a really good one, and he dropped less balls, which is important. Everybody's seen the video of the guy where he's talking about the firefighters throwing the baby out the window, and you catch him, unlike that bum Aguilar.
So I'll say the Bills. They cut Brown, right? They cut John.
Yeah,
Brown,
that was a shocker.
And Aguilar will not have the big price tag, and they'll want to fill in the spot. Yeah, so let's say Bills just.
I like this. That's a good one. I think one of the guards goes there. I think Kevin Zeitler already lives probably in New Jersey, right? Because of the Giants. The move to Buffalo is not that far. He doesn't have to completely move his whole family. I don't even know if he has a family, quite honestly. I just assume he does. But that guy, because of how bad the Bills' running game has been, it's been terrible. They can't run the ball to save their lives. So you got it.
Really
you throw it. Yeah, I mean you got
air raid.
Dude, all right, listen, it's an air raid, but Josh Allen is their running back, and he is all their running game because of scrambles. They have to be able to run the ball. I think they end up taking a running back at some point in this draft. The two kids out of UNC would be fun to see there. I was a big Devin Singletary guy. I don't think he can cut it. A lot of people I knew were big Zach Moss guys. He can't hold on to the football.
Yeah. And
so I think like a Michael Carter out of UNC or whatever the other guy out of UNC, can't remember because I'm dumb. And you throw a guy like Kevin Zeitler in there, and suddenly they can run the ball, and that offense is a big problem.
It's exciting for the Bills, just because they could be the New York team that is in that championship level that we are all looking for. But we touched up on a lot. I mean, NFL free agency being the main one because it's most relevant now. All-star games, really hope they can figure out something to make it more exciting. Spring training, let's stop overreacting. But again, it's exciting for the baseball season. And the New York Knicks, please let your playoff caliber basketball be the highlight of this season and not Patrick Ewing, the legend, the spirit of the New York Knicks, be disrespected, and let that be the face of it. So other than that, it was a fun one. And we'll look to have more fun next time. Yeah.
See you soon, Yannick Ngakoue.
Later,
guys.